Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is emergency content this morning after the breaking news that it looks like Brendan Rodgers is leaving Celtic to go to Leicester City. There's so much to cover, on this bit of content. We'll start with how we're feeling, and Ryan, I'll let you go first because I'm still not ready to talk about
it. Let's be honest, is anybody actually ready to talk about it? To say that we didn't kind of feel it in the water would be wrong. I think realistically we've seen and heard discontent in a number of his interviews over the last 8 months or so. So they kind of transferred the debacle in the summer. I'm disappointed. Yes, I think it's a awful time to walk out in the club on the cusp of a treble. I think it's leaves a bit of a sour taste. I think what he's done for the club has been phenomenal. He'll never be forgotten. Created the Invincibles, double treble, like I said, on the cusp of a treble. Massive game in the league tomorrow to try and get over the last couple of trips to Edinburgh. Massive game again in the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup, which league-defining, season-defining week, probably not league-defining, but season-defining week to lead us to the treble, and to think that he's walked out is just gutting.
As gutting as the... I think that's the overriding emotion that you can see on Twitter. A lot of people are angry, a lot of people are disappointed, but I mean, it's not done yet. There's been nothing confirmed. I'll read you the Celtic statement, which is very brief. Celtic Football Club today confirmed that it has been approached by Leicester City FC to speak to Brendan Rodgers with regards to their current managerial vacancy. Brendan has indicated to the club that this is an opportunity that he wishes to investigate further, and therefore, very reluctantly, the club have granted him permission to speak to Leicester City. It's not confirmed, but the only thing you can take away for that is that Brendan Rodgers is clearly interested in going to Leicester. Leicester want him. I would say it's 80-90% done. All he needs to do is work out a contract and a wage packet, and it'll be done. If it breaks down, how does he come back for that? He doesn't come back for that. So why? I mean, why would you leave? I keep hearing that Leicester City, since Claude Puel was sacked last week, I keep hearing people saying Leicester City, what an attractive proposition. That'll be a hard one to turn down. I've never heard so much bullshit in my entire life. It's the Premier League. It's the English Premier League. It's the league with all the money, the financial steroids. It's competitive. There's big teams in it. Anybody can beat anybody. But Leicester City, Claudio Ranieri won the league for Leicester City in 2016. The most remarkable story in sporting history. And they sacked him 8 months later. 8 months later, they sacked the guy who done the most unimaginable thing that Leicester City will ever achieve. They brought in Craig Shakespeare. That was February 2017. They brought in Craig Shakespeare, interim charge. He done well. In June they gave him a 3-year contract. He started the season. In October they sacked him. They brought in Claude Puel for Southampton, who's had now 15, 16 months, and they've sacked him. A few months ago they beat Chelsea and Man City back to back. They've been on a bad run, but why? And this is, I've seen a few people saying already, why would anybody, any true Celtic man, if you like, on the cusp of history, want to go to the revolving door of the English Premier League, on the cusp of what he could achieve for Celtic?
See, I get where you're coming from, right? And I fully agree that it's far more cutthroat down there. If you get a run of bad games, you're almost on the cusp of going out the door all the time. Your head's on the block, and it drops for you. So the high turnaround in the Premiership, the Premier League, is ridiculous. it is something that, in my mind, and you touched on there being a Celtic man, why would you not kind of see out your contract here? Why would you not do what you said you were here to do? Why would you not commit to the club? I get that, and as a true Celtic man, like, you're not about to see Kieran Tierney run to Leicester because Brendan Rodgers is the manager there. That's a true Celtic man. That's Celtic through and through, like you and I. Brendan Rodgers, Celtic background, but I think just from what's happening right now, you can't say Celtic through and through. Like, he's not here for the club, he's here for the job and the opportunity that opened up for him. He's here for the financial reward that it gave him, which it was the healthiest salary in Scotland, so he definitely did well out of it. Renewed his contract almost immediately when he created the massive momentum and the success that he did. For me, taking it away from Celtic through and through, it's clearly a business decision. It's something that he's struggled with the board. It's something that he has been very kind of disheartened with the way that he's been treated, the way that he's been backed, and he feels like there's no support within the structure of the business, which, again, coming back to it, very much run more as a business than a football concern. And I think that he's made the decision that that's what he needs to get away from. Out of the frying pan into the fire is what I think of when he's going to Leicester.
Aye, look, we'll get on to where the blame lies for this, because obviously the board are massively culpable for the way things have transpired in the past, say 12 months.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about where the blame lies, but even to come back to the money thing, I mean, it's not for money. I understand that for him to test himself as a coach at a really high level week in and week out, he'll get that at Leicester. He's not stretched tactically week in and week out in the Scottish Premiership at Celtic, we know that. But it can't be about money. Like, he's managed Liverpool, he's managed Swansea in the Premier League, he's a wealthy man. He's not going from £4 million, like 40 odd grand a week, whatever it is, well, £4 million including bonuses a year, to what, maybe double that at Leicester, but for what? Like, he's going, and this is what I just can't get. We know that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, the tide was rising towards it, we know that. But even last night when I looked at Twitter, I thought, like, he's been linked with jobs. He's been linked with plenty of jobs since he's been here. But I just had a feeling, I was like, I think this might be a text you as well. I just had a feeling there was something in this. But I still thought, nah, it'll be the summer. Like, if Leicester are willing to wait for their man and he's their man, they'll wait for the summer. They're sitting 12th in the Premier League, 32 points or something like that. They're clear of relegation. I don't expect them to get dragged into relegation, although maybe I kind of hope they do now. So I thought they'll get a caretaker and he'll go in the summer, because that's the dignified thing to do, and he would have went with everybody's best wishes, regardless of whether we close out a treble or not under him. He'd have finished the season and he'd have went with everybody's best wishes, because he's done a really good job. He's done a remarkable job here. But to walk out at this stage, at the first sight of a vacancy at Leicester, it's going to leave a sour taste, as you've said. It's going to leave a big blotch on what he has achieved here, because when we talk about Brendan Rodgers in years to come, it won't be treble, it won't be 10 in a row, it will be double treble, it will be the invincible manager, but it'll be the guy who walked out on us halfway through a season, 2.5 years into a project that he signed up for 4 years to do. I mean, I'm scunnered, I'm gutted. We'll get on to the board, we'll talk briefly about them, because there's so many other things to get on to, like who's going to be in charge. I think John Kennedy's going to be in charge tomorrow. Neil Lennon looks like he might come back in caretaker charge, but this is all speculation. There's been nothing confirmed as yet. So the board then, how have we managed to fuck this up from the position that we were in last summer after winning 2 trebles, looking like everything was so blissful? Here we are, February, about to be managerless.
Gross fucking negligence at the highest level. It is ridiculous that we are sitting in this situation with the guy that we had in charge, who was leading what was clearly a charge to 10 in a row. The gulf in class between Celtic and 8 and other last season was ridiculous. Like, we strolled the league, and we didn't play great in the second half of the season. We spoke about this. We didn't play that great, but we strolled it. We got the treble, the double treble. It was a case of, let's strengthen from a position of strength, so let's add and create better foundations for growth and development and build on a team which was very successful. Fresh blood, impetus to drive on and get that 10 in a row, impetus and real intention to move forward in Europe. That was what Brendan Rodgers wanted. That's what 60,000 fans every single week and many millions round about the world wanted. We didn't get that. It is just negligence. It is the board at the highest level thinking this is a business, it's not about football. But they forget that 60,000 people turn up there week in, week out for football, not to see that £34 million lying in the bank at January there. That's not why they're there. They're there to watch good football, to watch a team with ambition, because every single supporter there wants the best for their club. We want the best for our club, and it has just been sheer negligence.
Aye, look, Brendan Rodgers doesn't escape blame in it either, because he has signed players, like some of whom have went catastrophically wrong. He's responsible. He is also responsible, at least partly, for the way that the Dembele situation was handled. Whether you think it went rightly or wrongly, that was his decision. He thought he was in a toxic mood at training, and he thought, if that's the way you're going to be, then he can go, and he went. The club got their money, that was fine, but it left us in a certainly depleted in the attacking areas. Obviously there was the rest of the stuff that summer with John McGinn and things like that. We've came into January with the majority of signings being loan signings, which we thought was a red herring to begin with. It certainly it appears like that now. Where does that leave the guys? I mean, they're probably going back. They're going back to their clubs. But I mean, the only loser in this is the fans. Brendan Rodgers has to take blame. The board have to take blame. The fans are the losers. There's obviously been mismanagement and so many junctures and so many levels that have led to this situation. But the fans are going to lose out, and that's football, I suppose. But it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. It doesn't make it any. It's still hard to take. Let's just quickly move on then. Neil Lennon in caretaker charge. If that's correct, Neil Lennon caretaker charge. I love Neil Lennon, absolutely adore him for the service he's gave to Celtic as a player and as a manager. Is he the guy to take us forward? I don't think so. If he is going to be in caretaker charge, we've got the Scottish Cup quarter final at the weekend, which is at his former club Hibs, of course. And we'll have a semi-final and a final hopefully to come, and big games in the league to close out still, but we've got a good gap there. The one thing that jumps to my mind when I think of Neil Lennon is his record in semi-finals and finals was horrendous. Now, I don't know if he is going to be a caretaker manager, but what do you think of Neil Lennon coming in? If that is the case.
Again, if that is the case, I would just reiterate the fact that I have so much respect for Lenny. The work that he did as a player and a manager for Celtic was phenomenal. His achievements as a manager were really, really good for somebody who is 5 years removed from the club. He was 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 5 years removed from the club. absolutely inexperienced. He did really well for the club. If he's coming in as a caretaker manager, does that fill me with confidence that we can march to the Scottish Cup and see the league out confidently? He's not going to be the worst guy that could come in, but I'm not fully confident in terms of seeing out the treble. I don't know that he'll come in and be the man to see it across the line. I don't know.
So the big question is then, who replaces Brendan Rodgers long term? Who's the next man in the hot seat on a permanent basis? Whether it's now, whether it's the summer, who is it?
I've said it for probably 8 months or something, that I think Steve Clarke is the next man in the Celtic hot seat. He's a Celtic man, and he's done a phenomenal job with drastically limited resources at Kilmarnock. I think that just his education as a coach, some of the people that he's worked under, some of the achievements that he's had in the game, I just feel that if anybody's going to come in, if Celtic are going to invest in a manager, they're going to look for somebody who will take a lower package than what Brendan was on just as a business decision. They're going to look for somebody who can come in and do a job, who has worked wonders somewhere else, and I think it's almost 2 + 2 = 4. The Celtic board will be looking at Steve Clarke as the number one appointment.
His managerial journey, his coaching journey is very similar to Brendan Rodgers, actually. I'm sure they worked together at Chelsea in Mourinho's first spell there. He's done a fantastic job at Kilmarnock, he really has, but I mean, I really don't want to be negative, but I don't know if he's the man. I don't know if his style of football fits. I know that he's managed teams who, number one, don't have a history of playing attractive football, and number two, don't have the resources to sign the best players in order to play a style of football like that.
Celtic will fucking love that.
Aye, but the fans, again, I come back to the fans won't love week in and week out the football, and that's what, when you think about Gordon Strachan's time and Neil Lennon's time, we've had this discussion a lot recently in terms of they managers get great results in Europe, but there were times towards the end of both of their reigns where the domestic football was like putting needles in your eyes. It was horrible. So I'm not saying Steve Clarke is going to be like that. We've just yet to see him play an attractive brand of football because he's never had the resources that he would have at Celtic. I don't know if he's the right man. I think the way he's maybe handled himself with the issues he's dealt with recently, it seemed like he's definitely somebody with integrity. I think a lot of Celtic supporters will be open to him being the manager, but the only guarantee for me now is that we're probably going to end up with a manager of a lesser quality than Brendan Rodgers, and everybody can say all they like, oh well, maybe we'll get some results in Europe now. Maybe we will, but that is a result of changing the style and being more pragmatic, and the effects on the opposite end of that in the league might be something that we don't massively enjoy watching every week. But to think about the candidates that are out there, when Lonnie Dyer left, there was one outstanding candidate and we got him. It was a reach. I didn't think we would get him. We did get him. I don't think there's an outstanding candidate this time. I don't think there's anybody available who's streets ahead of everybody else. So there's huge decisions to be made. Huge decisions. We could go on for days and we could talk about Peter Lawwell's position. I don't expect it to change. I don't expect him to be going anywhere, given his cushy number that he's on. He took home nearly the same amount of money as Brendan Rodgers last year. I don't expect him to be going anywhere, despite the fact that some people might want him to. He has massive decisions to make. The board have massive decisions to make, and it's era defining. It's era defining. We've got an opportunity to win 10 in a row, and we can't be negligent about it. We can't be careless. We need to get the right man, and we need to back him.
We can't be negligent and we can't be careless. It's quite quite funny to speak like that when what we've been is thoroughly negligent and careless in the last year. I think that it's time for the board to strap a pair on and really make a difference and bring in the right person, back them to the hilt, and make sure that 10 in a row is done. Because we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, where it's not a project. It genuinely has been treated as a project. Brendan Rodgers leaving throws another spanner in the works, and it would just be nice to see the right decision being made and backed up with the finances to see it across the line. That is my thoughts on the matter.
Aye, we'll round up, but the other thing we haven't even touched on, we could be here for hours, but we touched about the loan signings. They're going to go back to their clubs. We're going to lose Boyata, we're going to lose Benkovic. With Brendan Rodgers still here, there was a massive rebuild job in the summer in terms of personnel. To have to do that with a new manager is a huge task. A huge task. Can't be underestimated, cannot be underestimated. But we'll see how it goes. I actually made a starting 11 prediction last night for the Hearts game, and I said, season defining week for Celtic, away to Hearts, away to Hibs, big league game followed by a Scottish Cup quarter final. Little did I know how big a season defining week it was going to be. That's it. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts below. Where does the blame lie? What does this mean for Brendan Rodgers' legacy at Celtic if he does go, which it looks like he's going to? And who do you want to be the next Celtic manager? Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you at Tynecastle tomorrow. Thank you.